Hi everyone, it's Michaeline with 3am Grace Designs. Today I'm going to talk about how I did my accents on Tumor on a Wall. I loved doing this panel. Donna and I had so much fun designing it. We never thought that we would be able to bring it to life, but I think it looks great. So let's get started. Alright, what I want to show you guys today is how to put on T1 through 7 and the outline of the vertebrae. I already did T1 through 6 and one side of my vertebrae so that I could work on the other side and the T7 with you guys. I really wish that I could have done like spinal cord and tumor, but I really just saw no way without abbreviating it. So I just left mine with the outline of the vertebrae and T1 through 7. Okay, the first thing I did for T7 was I chained about 30. Couple things is I left a very long tail because this is the side that I'm going to use to sew it on with. The other thing that I did is I didn't finish it off because I think 30 is going to be too many, and that way I could just pull it out and cut it. I actually didn't even disconnect it from my skein, so... the first thing that I do is I position it where I want it. If you don't stretch this out and you just sew this on just like that, it looks about the right length, maybe a couple shorter. But I usually end up stretching it out because it makes it denser, and so I don't see any holes come through. So that's another reason that I don't detach it from the skein quite yet. So the first thing I do is once again, I use a very sharp needle. I want to split the threads pretty good when I'm sewing it in. Well, not that thread. So I basically kind of hold it and I go through this first part a couple times. I really want to secure it to the blanket. So I just go through quite a few times. Okay. And then I like to I'll work from the front into the back. Okay. You can pin it if you want to make it more straight. This one's fine. I do have another suggestion. Do not sew right here. In between your pixels, try to stay like in the middle of them, and you'll get a better grab when you sew it on, okay? So I'm just going to finish sewing it on. Usually I just pop it through, and I just do a back stitch. And like I said, I pull mine tight. It's up to you if you want to leave it loose or pull it tight. I have done embroidery on a couple blankets. I did a bunch of accents on my Harry Potter blanket, and I've washed it. None of them have come out yet, surprisingly enough, but I think I just make sure that they're pretty secure. So this is what I do. I just kind of go back and forth until I feel like it's pretty secure, and then when I get to the length that I really like, I cut it off. Sew in my other tail, and that's it. Okay, I've finished securing my line for my T7. The next thing I did is, for all my other T's, I did a chain stitch, and what I forgot to mention too, on my lines and my T's, and if you're going to do the numbers in a chain stitch, I dropped down a whole needle size because I wanted them smaller. I'm not sure if I mentioned that earlier. So let's get started on T. For the T, for the top, I just made 2 little sets of chains, and my top is a chain 4, and my part down is a chain 5, and I literally just sew them on just like that, okay? And then I bring my ends to the back, and I weave them in underneath the black stitches so they don't show. Okay, I have my T all sewn on, and now I'm going to put on my 7. Another way to do it, this was with the chain method, and you can do that for all of your numbers, you know, 1 through 7, or you can stitch them on, which I'm going to show you how to right now. Once again, I use a really sharp needle. I thread that. I actually like to come up from the back, so... And when I work, actually, I'm sorry, I like to come in through the front. That way my tail is not in my way and I'm not piercing it when I go to the back. So once again, I just try to find, I try not to go in between the stitches right here. I try to like get a good hold when I'm embroidering on. And it's all, you know, creative. It's all how you like it. So what I'll do is I'll make the whole length of whichever part I'm doing, and then I will go back in where I first went in. Oops. Okay. And then I will come up through the middle of the yarn that I just laid down. Okay. And that way, it kind of goes over it twice and makes it a little thicker and a little more secure. So that's the top part. Like I said, I'm going to come down all the way. I don't really want mine even. I'm trying not to go super OCD because it's not that way on the actual picture. I'm going to come all the way up to where I started. I don't pull too snug either. And then I'm going to come up, split that part. Like I said, it's all up to you whether you want to do it this way, however way you do it. I just know that somebody might find this helpful. Just keep going over my initial piece of yarn. Doesn't really matter where. Until I really just like the way it looks. Okay. So I'm going to take this one now and sew it in. I frayed that a good bit. And I have a 7. The other thing I'll show you is I will show you how I weave in my ends. Okay, I will flip this over and I will definitely go through, I go back and forth 3 times and I'll go through the black wherever I put black in on the front. It's 1, 2, and that one's a little tight, which is good. And 3. And you can just cut that. Do the same with the other end, and then you would have your T7. The slashes in the middle are optional. Just do them the same way that we did, either with a chain or embroidered. Okay, now let's work on the outline of the vertebrae. Once again, well, first thing, it's a really good idea to have a picture in front of you. Mine's not perfect, but it matches pretty good, you know, so that I can see the different number of vertebrae that we have here. The first thing I do is I chained, I don't know, maybe 100, and once again, here's my chain, but I left a really long tail because I like to sew in from the beginning, because I like to sew in as I go, and I will show you why. What I do, or what I did, is I actually took some pins here, And I kind of laid out how I wanted my chain to be, okay? And like I said, I did it kind of according to the picture. And I pinned it, and then I sewed over the pins. And I kind of just, you know, did that as I went along. Right now, I'm only going to pin just like this top part, okay? I'm kind of eyeballing a picture as I go. All right. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I like to be close. That's kind of what it looks like there. Oh, and for this chain, I actually did use my regular hook that I crochet with. I did use a 5. I wanted it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to pin it over the red right now, but I'm going to show you something after I stitch it on. So that's what I do, and it looks like a mess, but like I said, I love the embellishments and I think it makes it worth it. So I'm going to stitch this on right up until I get to where I need this red is, and then I'll show you what I do. Okay, I have sewn the first part of my outline of my vertebrae on right up to this red. If you look at your picture, you will see right here how it goes underneath the red, and I actually do the same thing. So let me show you what I do. And when I said chain 100, yeah, don't hold me to that. I did not count. Just kind of chain enough and lay it out all along and make sure you have enough. I mean, too much is better than not enough. But if you don't have enough, just sew in your ends and start another one. Okay, so I want to go under. So I use a stitch marker, and basically I think I'm going to go under right about here, okay? And I'm actually going to pull it under, okay? And then bring it out again on the other side, okay? And I am not going to stitch over that red. If you don't like it on the back, if you don't feel it's secure enough, you can take a little piece of red and stitch over there and cover that up if you'd like. It's up to you. And now I'm going to do the same thing like I did before. I'm going to kind of outline where I think my vertebrae go and stitch them on. And I will do that all the way down. You know, I will outline it and I will pull it through and all the way down to the end. And that's how I stitch on the outline of the vertebrae. Hope that helps. Have a good day.